G'day Internet, welcome to video 7 in this Stick Ninjas devlog. My name is Andrew Russell and this week I was supposed to be talking to you about networking. Instead, I'm going to be talking to you about how my computer exploded. Just a little bit. So after last week's video, I went out dancing with my girlfriend. We had a good time. We came back and decided to watch a movie. So I turned my computer on and pop! Loud spark, blue flash, smoke, broken power supply, so no movie. Next morning I take the power supply out, disconnect it from the computer and try it again, and same result, and it also took out the circuit breaker. So very broken power supply, not good. So I figure, okay, no problem, I will just pop out to the computer store and buy a new power supply, plug it in, and we'll be fine. So I do that, I go and get the new power supply and I plug it in, and I find that my computer powers up for half a second and powers back down again. So that's not cool. So I get at at this point I'm kind of panicked, so I get out a USB hard disk reader that I've got, and I get an old laptop I've got kicking around, and I plug in my hard disks and test them all with this USB reader, and I find of my 3 hard disks, 2 of them do not work, which is thoroughly annoying. So I've got my 3 hard disks. One's operating system, one's data, and one is backup. Guess which 2 failed? No, it wasn't that bad. It was alright. The operating system disk and the backup disk failed. The data disk was okay, so it could have been a lot worse. And in fact, the data disk is new. My data used to be on the operating system disk, so if this had happened 6 months ago, I would have lost everything. So kind of lucky in that sense, I guess. So yeah, anyway, so at this point I've got a computer that powers up for half a second and powers down. So I go out and I go to the computer shop and I think, okay, so the hard disks are fried, the motherboard seems to be fried because it's not powering up. I'll just buy a new motherboard. It's expensive and annoying, but we'll have to do it. Buy the new motherboard, get it home, plug it in. This also entails a new CPU and new RAM because, you know, all the technology has advanced since I built my previous computer. I get it home, it powers up for half a second and powers down again. I'm like, oh my goodness. So at this point I'm thinking I've got a dodgy power, like a second dodgy power supply, and I've just unnecessarily bought a new computer, which is an expensive mistake. Anyway, I'm thinking, well, hang on, the hard disk's fried, so it's logical that the motherboard will have fried. So why is this new motherboard also not working? This is a bit odd. I take my hard disks again, this is the next day, so I take the hard disks and I plug them into my USB reader and all 3 of them work, which is good news, I guess, because I got all my data, but it's like, hang on, something's very wrong here. So I go back to my computer, I'm like thinking about this problem, and I realized my mistake after a lot of searching, and I'll show it to you. So when I rebuilt the computer, I didn't bother, like the first time, I didn't bother unplugging all the cables. So this is the power supply cable, the SATA disk power cable, and it's a modular power supply, so it's got this 5-pin modular cable, and I didn't bother swapping them out for the new ones that came with the new power supply. That was a huge mistake, because if you look, there's 2 5-pin connectors. They're identical. You would think they would work the same and you could just swap them out. No, you can't. This one has a different pin out to this one, if you can sort of see there. If you look closely, you will see that they are different wirings. So I was sending some ridiculous negative voltage to my hard disks, and fortunately I didn't break them. So that's not good. So as it turns out, my old motherboard and my old hard disks worked just fine. I didn't need to replace them, and all I had to do was just use the right power cables, and that's really quite frustrating. So I've kind of got an unnecessarily early upgrade to my computer, which I didn't really need, but oh well. So, yes, and then I've spent the rest of the week basically reinstalling my software, setting everything up, and I'm still going. I'm sort of in a position now I can edit this video together, I think. We'll see how it goes. So hopefully that's okay. So I was going to talk about a couple of, I don't know, lessons learned on this one. Lesson number 1, modular power supply cables are not interchangeable. If you're building computers, that's an important lesson. Lesson number 2, keep good backups. I keep really good backups, or at least so I thought I kept really good backups. I was backing up from one hard disk to the other. It happened automatically, it happened daily, it happened on a rolling basis. So backups happened every day, and each day wrote to a separate backup. So if something got broken on one day, I'd have an older backup in case the new backup got overwritten with broken backup, and you get the idea. So I had a historic backup. And the reason I was backing up between hard disks is because it's just really fast. It takes about 2 minutes to write a backup, so why not do it every single day? The problem with this is sort of one of the biggest failings of hard disks is the control circuitry. Like, you know, the mechanics might be fine, but you'll fry the control board. And the sort of thing that can fry one control board can fry 3 control boards. So I will be definitely implementing, at least for my most important stuff, some sort of offline backup or online backup, going to online on the web, as an alternative to that. The third thing I wanted to talk about today was runway. I mentioned runway in video 4. So I'm working from savings, and I've got a certain amount of time before I run out of money that I have to get a game out and selling. So this has wasted 1 week of runway just dealing with rebuilding the computer. And it's eaten all of my contingency, pretty much. So hopefully nothing else dreadful happens during the course of development, or I could be in trouble. I'm not really panicked yet, I'm just annoyed. But I've just moved panic, you know, a few steps closer. So there's that. And the final thing I wanted to talk about was momentum. I've been watching Andy Moore's video series. He's a game developer. He mostly does Flash games and some iOS games and stuff. He puts out this really good daily video series, and I think everyone should watch it if you're a game developer. Anyway, so I've sort of had this idea about momentum in my head for a while, but he's, I think, the first one that's sort of given me this label to call it momentum. And it's just really important to keep it going. And in this case, it's taken a huge hit because I haven't worked on a game all week. And, you know, I had, at the end of last week, I had all of the way all this networking code worked up in my head. And I had sort of solutions for all of the problems that I mentioned with that networking code ready to go, ready to design and program up here. Fortunately, I've got copious notes, so here is some stuff about the prediction algorithm that I'm going to be implementing on the networking. So I just have to sort of rebuild that momentum that I had going, which I was happy with and is gone. So hopefully next week I'll be talking about networking again. So it's been a crap week. So hopefully I'll see you next week, and I'll talk about networking, and we'll get rolling again. So thanks for watching everyone. See you next time.